letting it go. She has never been in the marriage. She insisted her ex-husband stay a week with us to spend time with daughter. He lives in New York. I didn't like it but agreed because she said if I didn't it proved how selfish and insecure I was. Needless to say, I came every day to them in the pool drinking and grilling, having a good old time while kids were inside. Finally, on our anniversary I came home to find them both in very odd seating arrangements. I'd asked to speak with her about it after everyone went to bed and basically, she didn't care what my opinion was. I left and stayed at brother's house. She filed restraining order and let him stay there. In fact, they went out to eat at a nice restaurant together. I filed for divorce. She ended up having him stay on different occasions for a while, even after lying to me about it after we agreed he shouldn't be staying there with my 3-year-old son while we are separated and so soon. She didn't care. Tried to get relocation with my son to New York with him. Courts denied. Very ugly custody battle. She tried every way in book to get me out of equation so she could go with X to New York. Even calling police and trying to set me up nonstop. Eventually standard joint custody was decided and I took great new job at beach and was moving on. She then decides she loves me and wants to work things out. So, for my son's sake and trying to keep family together, I move her here. Well, she spends no time working on relationship and spends her time catching up with old friends here and inviting them to come visit and hang out and drink. This is frustrating to me because her daughter is with her dad in New York and will be back at end of summer, and I would like to know marriage is in better shape and going in right direction by then. She has other plans. After a month of her not looking for a job or working on relationship, I say something to her. She gets angry and leaves. Then about every week or two she gets drunk and just starts going off on me and making drama and leaving. Once she left drunk and totaled her car actually. Have no idea how she didn't get caught. Anyway, I begin to let her know that this isn't going to cut it. Let's start working on relationship and making it a priority or it's over. She seems a little concerned but then 2 days later gets mad and doesn't want to hear anything from me and basically takes a hardcore I don't give a damn attitude. Monday before last I text her and ask what she is doing. Supposed to be looking for a job, and she says at Office Depot making copies of resume. I happen to be by Office Depot for work and swing by thinking I will pay for all the copies and get also some nice resume paper I know she doesn't have money for. Surprise, surprise, she isn't there. I call and ask her again, and she says, at Office Depot I told you. I nicely said, no, you're not because I am here now. She then says, she meant to say, on her way to Office Depot, which I also know is a lie because she never showed up. Feeling uneasy she lied to me. I didn't say anything but instead kept my cool, and the next day during a break, I went by apartment and she wasn't there. I text and ask what she was doing. She implied she was at home on computer looking for jobs. Another lie. As I leave the apartment, I see her car at apartment complex office. Again, I don't say anything and just go back to work. The wed. I go by apartment again to see she again isn't there but implying she is there looking for jobs on computer. I see her car at apartment complex office again and this time go inside. She doesn't see me at all because she is so engrossed in the computer. She isn't looking for jobs at all. She is chatting with someone and looking for places to move. I sit down behind her and just watch and listen. She never sees me and is busy making calls to different places to move, etc. Worried it might cause a scene if I say anything. I just get up and leave but not without first taking pictures and video or her up to no good, because I know she will deny it as always. I go home and ask can she come home for us to talk. She does and seems confused. I tell her I don't want to argue or fight. We have a child together. So I ask her to please if nothing else be honest with me. I ask her if she is seeing or talking to anyone. She says, no, of course not. What the hell? Then I ask is she looking for places to move and she says, no. Why are you asking me this? What's going on? I again ask her to be honest with me because I know she is lying. Again, I ask her about looking for a place. She says, I haven't looked for a place to move or anything like that in a long time. I show her a picture of doing just that at apartment complex office. She says, she meant on our computer at home. We have 2 there she could use. I say if you didn't have anything to hide then why are you not using our 2 computers and using one elsewhere? She jumps up and says, I'm not doing this. I will just leave. To which I said fine, go. She goes and picks up our son from school and leaves for a couple of nights. She comes back Friday night and we don't talk much. She sleeps in bed and me on couch. Sat morning, I wake up to her actually cooking breakfast and being nice. I am kind of shocked but going with it. After all, I wanted to work if possible. She goes into talking about how she needs me to give her money for her and her daughter's cell phone bill. I don't say much and she then starts saying I must not want it to work if I am unwilling to even give her money now. I ask her is that all she wants me for? Because that is me meeting her needs and she is not meeting any of mine. Wanting to show good faith after making my point, I ask how much she needs and then give her the $250 she wanted. She then starts being ugly for no apparent reason. I ask is she trying to start a fight and she says no but then goes to bathroom to shave her private parts and then leaves my son and I basically and goes me the whole weekend. She returns this past Monday morning, 10 minutes after I am to be at work. So we don't have to talk. She doesn't know that I left a VAR before I left for work. I come home and she doesn't want to talk or anything, and we pretty much keep our distance from each other. I go into work twos and start listening to the VAR recordings. She is talking to her friend Mary about how things went meeting some guy named Adam in a Jeep and how he's cute. I guess Mary, her friend, asks a question about what she told him because she replies, "No, I told him the truth that I am going through a divorce. But he's divorced so he understands." She then proceeds to go on about how great this is and how her whole life is about to change and he is making this possible, and how she almost has her new place all worked out. I heard enough and went home and asked her again to sit down and let's talk, but she needs to be honest with me. I ask her the same questions as before and she jumps up and says again, "I'm not doing this crap. I'll just leave." To which I replied, "I think you should then." She blew up my phone that night and next day, but only about wanting stuff she left behind, and I wouldn't reply at all. She starts making threats that she will have me arrested if I don't give her rest of her things. I finally respond that I don't want her things and she can have them, but it's best we don't see each other or even talk right now. She was livid, of course. A couple of days go by this week and she texts again wanting her things. I tell her that perhaps she can come by today and get them, but there is to be no discussion at all. I ask to speak with our son and she's not with him, of course, so he can't talk to me. I ask her to have him call when he can and never hear another word. Now I am starting to worry, should I allow her and her GF to come by apartment today or not? I originally was going to ask a friend to come be with me, just so I would have a witness, but he had literally a real family emergency and can't. I am afraid she and her friend can say or do anything, and it's 2 versus 1. Like start taking anything she wants, and if I try to stop her, she calls police and lies. Moving forward, I want things to be normal as possible without the drama, since we have to get her the rest of her things and we have to see each other to exchange our son and deal with issues of school, etc. that have to be resolved now we aren't together, but I just don't want to have to deal with her at all right now. I called and the police said they would prefer to stay out of domestic civil situations unless there was a problem. And since there hasn't been yet, that it would be different if I was a woman calling and asking. Anyway, I just don't think I need to let them, and see if we can make it a time when I have someone there to witness. She will throw a fit and threaten everything in the book, and I would like to be able to trust her enough to just let her come get her stuff she left, but I feel I just can't at the moment. At lunch I went home and the apartment complex people said they would rather not get involved and hope it's not a problem in the future. If I were a woman, them and police would respond totally different, I am sure. I hoping to avoid a disturbance at all cost. Think I am going to just tell her to come another day when I can have someone there to witness. She will yell and curse me and threaten everything under the sun, but I think I will just go back to NC until I can arrange a day with a witness. Better than the alternative. Locks changed and she is not on the lease. This was my place after she let our home go into foreclosure when she just stopped making payments last year when we split. Her ex came to stay and they just enjoyed home and pool with my son and didn't pay a dime. Once she realized she couldn't relocate to New York with him, she wanted to relocate here where she has family. I came and talked to some people and actually got a great job with an aerospace company. So, I agreed to sign the relocation request here if custody is 50-50 and child support goes from $800 a month plus alimony to just child support of $500 per month only, and our son can decide who he wants to live with at age 6. She agreed, not knowing I already had great job lined up. I was here before her. Then she wanted to work things out. So, I moved her here and basically gave her another chance, only to find out she was lying and just using me again. So, she's out, but custody is settled. Boom. Comment: she's a lost soul and deserves absolutely no sympathy. You already know that. Do not be alone when she comes to get her stuff. If you end up alone for whatever reason, make sure you videotape the whole thing. Buy 1 or 2 handheld video recorders and record their every move. I know this sounds over the top, but your wife is a crazy WH0 and I know how easily she can push the right buttons to make you want to kill yourself. It's their survival tool, to drive people to the edge to get what they want. Stay calm and friendly, as you already stated you want to. You need her out of your life. You have allowed her, your fault entirely, to take away your sanity and balls. Time to stop the madness. OP, I'm sorry, but somewhat happy for you. This woman was way below your league level. You deserve a lot better. Consider your kindness to her a work of charity and move on. OP responds: I've been waiting for you to pump me up. Everything you said is dead on. She has used my own love for her to manipulate me to do things not in my best interest. I have given her plenty of chances and asked very little actually. She has been the biggest mistake of my life and basically has no love or respect for me or my son. Sucks that I loved her way more than I thought was even possible and was so freaking committed. Also sucks she was literally the best ever by far in bed. Yes, she gets lots of practice. Regardless, it's time to move on. Custody is settled to my favor overall. Got a great little boy. Got a great job at the beach, live at the beach, look 10 years younger than I am. And head to Vegas for a week on the 17th through my birthday on 22nd. Excuse my French, but duck her. Well, after telling her I would not have anyone to be there when she and her friend came to pick up things Friday, she went off, of course, and I just turned phone off. I managed to keep it NC all weekend until yesterday when she just showed up at my apartment with our son. While I was sitting outside, she said she just wanted her things she left, and I said fine, I would put them outside if she would wait outside. Well, as soon as I opened the door, they barged in. I didn't want to make a scene with my child there, so I let her get her things, and she was very ugly and verbally abusive. Needless to say, they left and she began going off on me. It's all my fault, etc. I went to the pool for the day and just left cell and apartment. Of course, when I returned later yesterday evening, there were tons of mean, cruel texts threatening me, etc. As like other times, his statements and accusations are so far-fetched, I end up getting sucked into responding to defend myself from such crazy statements. Bad idea. She just got more mean-hearted and really said some very, very hurtful things that honestly just crushed me inside. I told her I wasn't doing this anymore and turning phone off, which I did. At least now she has the things she left behind and has no reason to contact me other than our son, and I don't have him again until wed and then this weekend. I hate to, but I am thinking about just not getting him wed as to avoid contact with her and make some space. I hate to not spend time with my son, but I honestly just need some peace right now. The last comments she made really struck me to the bone and hurt very bad. I just need peace right now, and although I want to see my son bad, I don't want any contact with her at all right now. It is settled, signed and done. It was the most time I could get where we live, period. Unless she sleeps with goats or something. End of week and every Wednesday night plus all holidays except her birthday and Mother's Day and all summer every year, and at age 6 on, he can decide who he wants to live with. No questions asked. It's a judge-signed order and judgment. The last part was the kicker for me. In time he can decide with who he wants to stay, and that's great. Well, another day. Seemed to be up and down a lot lately. Crazy thing happened last night though. Ran across an old GF on Facebook, and she is going through divorce after 13 years. She tells me her story and basically my heart drops. She is of the same mindset as my STBXW, and as I listen to her, I know how easy it would be to hook up with her because of how out her thinking is about her husband right now, and all I could think was I feel so sorry for the poor guy. It sounds like he really loves her, and the more he tries the more she could care less and sees him as pathetic. My mind flashes to how that's how my STBXW has been seeing all my attempts to work things out in marriage and make our relationship better. That said, makes it a lot easier to be NC after hearing the way she describes his pathetic text. I remember when that was me trying any way I could just to get my wife to respond and start any kind of discussions with me. I feel really bad for the guy, and know I won't be the old flame she leans on, because with every word she spoke, I could hear the coldness in her words and how she has come to view a man that actually seems to be a good husband and father and just wanted his marriage to work and put the work in daily. It's crazy how she just sees this effort from him as nothing and actually turns her away from him. Very sad. Speaking of my situation, I am supposed to get my son every wed night and this weekend. Curious to see if that happens tonight. I know I am not going to contact her, so we shall see as the day goes on what happens. Don't want to not see my son tonight, but damn sure don't want to contact her at all now. She texts a minute ago and asked what time I wanted her to bring him. All I answered back was whenever is fine. She texts back, whenever, and I replied yup, earlier the better. So, we shall see. Just not getting into the cycle of back and forth. Today is so freaking tough. It's our anniversary, and she came to pick up our son this morning before work. Having him there and seeing her and today being our anniversary, it just all came back, and I was feeling so well about myself and where I was going to. Yes, I am not as far as I thought, because this just suck. The hits just keep on coming. Just received paperwork to sign for sale of our old house. It showed her new address. My dumbass Googled it, and it's clear she is living with someone or her ex is giving her money. The place is 3 times nicer than mine, and I pay a lot of rent and have a nice job. She has no job at all. So, even though I kicked her out a week or so ago, it's obvious she had something going on to some extent and has had this place in line since before, because she couldn't have done this with no money and no job in 1 week. I am really screwed up right now. This hurts a lot. I guess it's just another sign of reality that I was right all along, which I already knew. But damn, it hurts. I guess the positive is, it's just another sign I was right and did the right thing. I just wish my heart would feel that way too. I need a big vodka and cranberry. I can't even work right now. Honestly, I am livid and can't stop pacing my office. I know I need to let it go. Just a really hard ducking day. I want to scream. Even though my gut knew this is a lot to take today. I'm just really out of my head right now. Angry, sad, angry, sad. I feel so used and angry but sad for my son that his own mother would do this. I should have known at the start. It's my fault. Well, new day and a little better attitude. Have to see her again today for her to drop son off for weekend. Not looking forward to it and wish I never had to see her face again. It really sucks to love an evil person. I live at the beach, so there are plenty of opportunities, not to mention leave for Vegas a week from today. It shall get better. Right now, Just don't feel like doing anything at all though. Even though I knew it was the right decision, there was a small part of me that thought she might see the light and magically transform into an actual loving wife. Yes, I had high expectations. I should have known if she cheated on the first husband, wasn't a wife to him at all, and blamed him for all her faults. Why would I expect anything different is beyond me. Well, weekend went okay, I guess. Enjoyed spending time with my son. Sucks to have to see her to drop him off and pick him up, but I remain calm and civil. Just sucks because I find my mind wondering what she is doing if our son is with me. Who is she with? Is she sleeping with them? Etc. I find myself going from confident and positive to sad and angry back and forth. It's very confusing. When she was with me, I was hell-bent on demanding better treatment and honesty or walking away. Not that she's gone without a second glance. I feel like a fool. Now she is doing great apparently. In less than a week, a new 2-story condo on the beach and utilities all on, without a job. Now, after 2 months living with me and looking for a job, within a week and a half she has two. Her ex-husband, that started this whole mess, will be here any day to return my stepdaughter to my STBX, and I am sure he will be staying with her even though court order says he's not to. She will just lie to me, I'm sure. She has yet to have a conversation with me regarding plans for kids, etc. I am doing the 180, so I don't want to talk to her. This just sucks, that is all. I can't seem to focus on anything very long before it comes back to her. And as mean as she was now, I find myself wanting her back. This is so messed up. I need a distraction because the longer the dark and distance between us, the more I find myself longing for her to come back, even though I know that's not going to happen. She still is playing games with our son. She would rather take him 45 minutes away to stay with one of her GFs to stay all night than let him stay with me right across the street from his school while she works her new job. That is, unless that's a lie too and her ex-husband is keeping him. If so, she wouldn't tell me, even though he is not supposed to. I wouldn't know for sure either way because I damn sure will not be checking or contacting her. Every time I have about our son, she basically refuses to tell me anything or answer any questions about him, and I end up pissed off. So, I just have to let go and see him end of week. Just sucks. Just got back from 5 days in Vegas. Also reopened my FB page to get friends back in my life and stop sulking. Why, how things have changed. It's a new day. Well, day 2 since back. Had to see her to sign some papers to sell house out of state and her pick up our son this morning. She is as mean as ever. Yelled and screamed and cursed in front of our 4-year-old. Basically, I went to Vegas even though it was for work. Oh well, I love her still and would be willing to work on things if she could be honest, but that isn't going to happen, and with every day that passes, I have more options and find myself not so lonely. Apparently, there are lots of women that would be happy to spend time with me. So far, I have taken none up the offers because I am still not whole or healed, but I have to admit it does make me feel better to know I have good market value. Yesterday was my birthday and got to spend it with my son. It was very nice actually. Funny, I noticed last night is, with all the happy birthday wishes from friends and family on FB, over 30 of them were ex-GFs or even my first ex-wife. From exes when I was a teenager all the way up until my ex-GF from right before I married the last time. What struck me was, I have great relationships with all of them. We are all friends and they would do anything for me still. All of them, except my current STBXW. It got me thinking, that's proof it's not me. We knew each other 2 weeks and got married at courthouse at 18 years old. We were young and grew in different directions. She wanted to be a country girl and I was in radio and far from it. We are great friends. We just were too young to know who we were, much less what we were doing or what forever meant. We have a great relationship though. She wasn't able to have kids and I wanting kids, so it worked out. In fact, she is a godmother to my son now. Well, had a great weekend with my son. Did all kinds of fun stuff. Had a friend from HS and his wife and 2 kids join us. The whole weekend was wonderful besides keeping an eye out for Hurricane. That is until she came to pick our son last night. She shows up with a bad attitude and starts freaking me out. I ask her twice to please don't talk to me that way because our son is crying and upset and not wanting to go with her. She continues to blame me for it when he just wants to stay longer. Typical 4-year-old. Her yelling makes him really upset, and for 3rd time I say with a loud, clear tone, I said, do not talk to me that way in front of our son. She really gets pissed now and goes off full throttle. Storms out without son and phone in hand saying she is calling police. She always throws that out there to intimidate and bully me when she is pissed off. So, I call police. First time I have ever done that too. I just ask for some officers to come out to keep the peace during exchange. I hate it because my son is really upset at this point and hate him have to see police involved with mom and me period. Still, wasn't going to fall for the same crap as before. While waiting for police, in the process of cursing and yelling, she says she has a restraining order and I am going to behind bars. Of course, I have not been served with anything, and besides there is no legit reason because I haven't done anything but stay dark besides basic info about our son and storm plans for Hurricane to make sure we are on same page. But of course, she hasn't said anything about restraining order because there is no real threat, just a tactic she has used in past to bully me. Anyway, the police show up. We exchange our son and she is livid, of course. I hate it, but I am not letting her dictate, bully or intimidate me with threats anymore. I pray that this ends it, but I worry knowing her. The backlash is coming. She can be evil and relentless. I guess I will be served at some point about the restraining order, and that's fine. We will go to court and she has nothing at all that warrants the restraining order. So I can't imagine it will stick. She just wants it to use to threaten me into submission and dictate everything. Not going to happen. Other than that, I had a great weekend with son. It looks like worst of hurricane may pass us by here, and I am in a great mood with plenty of great options. Hopefully she will calm down and start handling more civil and drop all the threats of calling police every time she gets pissed off or disagrees. Freaking crazy. When it looked like we would take a direct hit from the hurricane, I offered to help her and kids evacuate and pay for hotel rooms, etc. to be safe. She refused and said she had it all under control and wouldn't say where my son would be through the hurricane. I just wanted us to be on the same page as far as evacuation and safety go. When she made it clear she wasn't telling me what she was doing or where she was going and had it all taken care of, I didn't ask anymore. Now it's looking like we are out of the cone for the hurricane, although we may still get some bad weather from it. So, my concern and worry for safety is less of an issue. I don't ask and at this point don't care. She was supposed to get off work at 8 p.m. last night and pick up son, but she didn't make it until 10:30 p.m. Sure, she is fishing for the next meal ticket. In fact, when she dropped our 4-year-old son off Friday, the first thing he said was, "Daddy, Mom being bad." I asked him what. He said, "Mom being bad," with big boys laughing. Sucks to have your 4-year-old say that to you, but I am sure that's another reason for the restraining order she tried to file. Trying to make sure I don't mess up her game. Funny thing is, I could care less about what she's doing now. I love her, but her non-stop actions are clear proof she isn't worth the effort, and I deserve much better. I just want to fast forward to my son doesn't have to see and deal with this crap anymore. Well, made it through the storm all right and back at home. Hadn't heard much from her since calling the cops on her son. She did send some random crazy text asking who was, insert girl's name, and of course there is no other girl and what does it matter to her anyway? So I just didn't respond. Other than that, things are good. Friday. Glad to have football back on TV. A great way of feeling like you are doing something while doing nothing and spending no money. Not much contact with STBXW except for yesterday. She texts wanting to get the other $250 of child support she didn't get earlier this week because we were all evacuated because of storm. I text her back I would leave it under doormat and she could pick up whenever. Other than that, things are a trip. Tons of girls all seeking for my attention. Mostly middle-aged divorcees that come across as really desperate. They literally beg to come have a good time and send pictures. Of course, I am not there yet. Like a dumbass, I still love my wife, and until I can get all that poison out of my system, I prefer not to complicate things further. Besides, they come across as having a lot of baggage and issues themselves and are just looking for a guy to make it all better. Not doing that. So, I look forward to watching some football and doing a lot of nothing this weekend. Maybe go to beach for a bit. Try to keep busy and focus on me. It's still hard but getting easier every day. Starting to feel like my old self again and not the whipped little boy I had allowed myself to become, being so in love and ran over like a doormat. Feels good to have fun and smile again. I swear the STBXW can sniff out my happiness. She has been blowing up my phone. I have just been ignoring it and being happy instead of sucked back into that game of emotional whack-a-mole with her. Got to love the life that we are living. Update, like sand in the hourglass. So, the STBXW comes by to drop off our son last night. Except she wants to talk. I ask what she needs. She wants us to start dating. I'm like, what the hell? Seems she can smell my newfound happiness and confidence. I kind of laugh because I know my market value is a lot higher than I thought it was, and she is the one that gave up her leverage as wife, and now she wants to compete with the other women who are all auditioning for my time. And they seem to be a lot more interested in my happiness and needs than she ever was. I didn't give her a yes or no. I just smiled and said, "Had something to think about." She said, "Well, I thought you would be really happy." She texted several times asking me to come over and stay with her last night. I didn't respond. Then this morning when she came to pick our son back up, she was dressed extra nice and looking good. Now, I have him debating the next step for me. Feels good to have options. I honestly don't think she can compete with the other girls seeking for my attention, to be honest. She showed no remorse at all, really. More like, okay, let's try this again because I notice you are really happy and girls are after you. She wanted me to come spend the night last night and I refused. She showed up this morning, looking pretty as hell, and I proceeded to not give a crap. These things would have got me reeled in before. Truth is, I am happy. My life is really good right now. I have people that want to make me happy and have fun with me. For her to show me she is serious, it will take more than this. I love her still, but I also know how she has treated me and I deserve better and can have better. If she wants this, she is going to have to do a 180 herself and show me. She's texting now asking to do something tonight after work. I do have plans. To get a haircut, go home, grill some chicken, and watch football. My comment: as much as OP miss her, I don't think he will take her back, considering his life is better without her. What do you think? Comment down. Sub and bell. I've been uploading more recently. Check out the other ones, and I will get back with another one.